Do you think that, let's take a look at the process so far. At least it's been a few weeks since the program has been announced. Of course, it was announced a few months ago, but we saw pressure come when it was as if the politicians realized, oh, elections are just by the corner, and a whole lot of people started making some, talking about their concerns.
Yeah.
How would you analyze at least the last few days concerning this Naira redesign program, and perhaps also the impact on 2023 elections before we move into other issues?
Fair enough. It's been a very harrowing few weeks, it must be said. Very harrowing for the Nigerian people. Ordinarily, where we were thinking about currency redesign, but of course, by the time the program was implemented, the cash squeeze was very obvious, people having to struggle to get into the banks. And in some parts of Nigeria too, we've seen a few demonstrations, riots, destruction of bank branches and so on. It's not been easy. It's not been easy. And if I quickly say that, well, of course, part of what the president said was also that this policy was also targeted at ensuring there wasn't vote buying. I think if we look at it from that perspective, yes, you can see that we only managed to get 24 million people to vote out of 90-something million people registered. And, 24 million in 2023, it was 2019, it was 27 million. 2015, it was 29 million. 2011, it was 38 million.
Yes.
39 million, I'm even just seeing now that in 2003 it was 42 million.
Yes,
now, what this tells you,
million,
I mean, there seems to be a kind of steep decline, which may also mean that Nigerian elections are getting a bit neater. It's certainly not perfect, certainly very imperfect, but it's getting neater. And perhaps this non-availability of cash in a very crucial time like this may have contributed to that. Maybe people who weren't mobilized decided not to go out and vote, because I think that's also another thing to think about. Maybe a segment of Nigerians exist who would rather just go out to vote if someone gives them something. They are not, and of course we're still growing. I mean, we're still writing history, as was said. So the understanding of democracy is still very low in many places. They just can't be bothered. It's going to take time, and of course I think the best way to go, rather than, in my view, if they would ask me, rather than squeeze cash like that into an election, a very bad decision it turned out to be. I'd rather that we focus more on really mass education, and also ensuring that the standard of living of our people is better than it is. Because